Hey everyone, it's Kevin, and in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the long-term effects of eating disorders. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video, and if you want to speak with me, there is a link below. And if you want to start your own YouTube channel and start sharing your story, then check out the Creative Business Academy by Essetino Artists. There is also a link below. What are the long-term effects of eating disorders? There are plenty. It doesn't mean that you can't recover, doesn't mean that you shouldn't recover, and it doesn't mean that you'll never eat like a normal person again. But some habits, some beliefs, some thoughts, some things last a little longer than you want them to, and that's what I want to talk about. And the first thing I want to talk about is the physical effects. There are physical effects with eating disorders. If you're binging, purging, those are really acute, right? You're putting a huge stress on your body, and then all of that stomach acid is in your mouth, so it's eroding your teeth and it's eroding the gums. So once you recover from bulimia, you might want to have those checked out. In fact, I really urge you to do that. See a periodontist, make sure your gums are okay, make sure your teeth are okay. Another thing that I noticed, even without the purging, is that my digestion and my absorption was a little off. Meaning I just wasn't I wasn't digesting things like I was before. Foods that I could digest without trouble became difficult to digest. This improved over time, but it wasn't automatic. I still had those problems for many months. That's why nutrition becomes more important afterwards. You need to have a lot of fiber, you need to have a lot of healthy foods, you need to have things that are good for your gut. There's a new book that came out, I think it's called Fiber Fuel, that I want to read. It's by this MD in South Carolina. It's about how to restore your gut. Really good stuff. You need to eat fruits and vegetables, you need to have fiber, you need to take care of your gut, because the binging, the purging, it puts a heavy demand on all of your entire digestive tract. If you've been abusing laxatives, then you've probably sustained some damage to your large intestine. So it's even more critical that you start taking care of the colon or the large intestine, and you start eating foods that nourish it and improve its health. Then there's the long-term effects on your mental health. When you have an eating disorder, you're thinking about it a lot, you're stressed, you have a lot of anxiety, you have a lot of guilt. When the ED ends, when you overcome your ED, and you will, those thoughts and feelings don't necessarily go away. You probably will still have anxiety. I still have anxiety about certain foods, and I felt like I couldn't eat them, and I felt like they were trigger foods and I couldn't have them anymore, and I didn't trust myself. That trust takes a while to restore. And I still felt anxious around certain foods. So I would get nervous if there was some food in my house. If there was like peanut butter or cookies in the house, I was thinking, how can I get rid of it? I can't have this thing near me. You will develop more trust over time, and that anxiety will subside over time. Your body image probably suffered while you had an ED. Even when I overcame my ED, I didn't necessarily feel better about my body image, at least not right away. It does improve when you start making better decisions. You start feeling better about yourself because you feel like you're doing the right thing. And then when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're still going to notice some extra body fat that you probably gained with your ED. But when you make better decisions, you start eating healthier, and the weight starts to stabilize, you will feel better. But it's not automatic. The other long-term effect is the effect on your relationship with food. I don't like to talk about relationship with food, because how can you have a relationship with something that doesn't talk, doesn't speak, it's totally inanimate. The thing is, in a way, you have a relationship with food. It's how do you see it? Do you describe certain foods as healthy, unhealthy, good, bad, processed, unprocessed? It took me a while to develop that healthy relationship. It took me a while to eat more intuitively. It took me a while to listen to my hunger cues, and that's another long-term effect, is the disconnect between you and your hunger. So you're always questioning yourself. Do I really need this? Am I really hungry? Should I eat this? And it takes a while to eat exactly according to your needs, to listen to your hunger. It's not something that happens overnight. It takes a little bit of practice, because you're so used to going past that satiation point. You're so used to eating for every reason except hunger. You don't know what it's like to eat based on hunger, and you're not used to eating proper portions. It will take a while. It is like hitting a bullseye. Over time, with practice, you will get better. Anyway, that relationship with food, you will develop a healthier relationship with food. You won't see calories as the enemy. You won't see food as the enemy anymore. you won't resent eating. I still had that feeling. I resented eating when I was trying to lose weight. It's like, I don't need to lose weight. I mean, I don't need to eat because I have all this extra body fat. Why don't I just consume my body fat? That's not how the game is played. You have to play by the rules. You have to play by the rules set by biology. 1 to 2 pounds a week. I think for most people, that is a sustainable rate. You still have to feed yourself while you're losing weight or while you're reducing, if you want to use that language. It's okay to eat when you're trying to lose weight. You don't have to fast your way to your natural weight. In fact, I'd recommend that you don't do that. All you need to do is eliminate the pleasure eating. You need to reduce the binging. You need to reduce overeating and the night eating. Once you stop the binging and the overeating, the weight takes care of itself. That's another long-term effect too, is the weight. You probably gained weight with an ED, whether it was binging or purging or whatever, or chewing and spitting. You probably gained more weight than you wanted to. Because those compensatory mechanisms work to a point, but over time and consistently, you start to gain a little bit of extra fat. So this goes back to body image. You probably gain extra fat. Your athletic performance suffered a little bit. When you stop the behavior, the weight corrects itself. Don't focus on the weight first and then correct the behavior. Focus on the behavior and then the weight will solve itself. Trust me. There's the effects on your social life. So when you have an ED, you're isolated because you don't want to go out. You don't want to talk to people. You just want to feed this ED. So when people want to go out, you want to binge and purge, or you want to fast because yesterday you binged and purged and today you need to compensate and you're committed to fasting and you're committed to not eating today. And so you're like, no, I don't want to go out. I've missed a lot of social opportunities because I felt like I couldn't eat that day or because I really wanted to go home and stuff my face. Not only that, but when you have an ED, you feel inauthentic because you're hiding something and you don't want other people to know about it. So you don't want to go out as much. You're hiding, you're contracting. That's what an ED does, is that it takes over other parts of your life. It's like a cancer. It just grows and grows and grows until it takes over everything. And then you don't want to go anywhere and you feel ashamed of yourself and you don't feel like you deserve to eat. So you say no and you miss out on other social events. Or people invite you to a pool party or a beach party and you don't want to take off your shirt because you have all this extra fat and your body image has suffered. See how everything is interrelated? The other thing that doesn't go away is what I call vestigial habits. Just like humans have vestigial parts of their anatomy like tonsils and appendix and the coccyx, the end of the spine. They say that these were pieces of our body back in the day and we don't need them anymore. Whether you subscribe to that or not, I don't know. I don't care. But you're going to have vestigial habits that you acquired with an ED that don't disappear overnight. So for example, for months, even like a year or two after I recovered or I was fully recovered, depends on what your definition of recovery is, I was still weighing food, counting calories, keeping a calorie log, looking at nutrition facts, and still obsessing over what I ate. I still had some bad habits that I needed to correct, like drinking diet soda. I was a consummate diet soda drinker with an ED, and then even after the ED, that was a habit that took me a long time to break. I would eat in the car, I would eat in front of the computer, so I was still, I didn't have an ED, but I was sloppy in a lot of ways, and I wasn't eating mindfully, and I wasn't eating the best foods all day, every day. So there was still a lot of room for improvement, even though I wasn't chewing and spitting, or I wasn't binge and purging, or whatever. Those were still habits that survived even after the recovery, and I had to work on those afterwards, and it took many months to beat it. Don't be surprised if a lot of the habits that you acquired during your ED still survive for months and years. And the last thing that will survive, unfortunately, is the cravings and the urges. That's okay, because cravings and urges and thoughts, they can't make you do anything. They might sound compelling, they might sound logical, but they're not. And you have to learn to recognize those voices in your head and then reject them and keep moving. That's the only way to sustain a recovery. If you start believing them and you start taking them seriously, you're going to go back. You're not day one, but you're going to lose some of that progress that you made. So it's really important to recognize those voices and reject them. How long will those cravings and urges last? I don't know. Everybody's individual. I've met alcoholics who say they still have the craving to drink alcohol after years of recovery. I don't think that's typical. I think when you stop the behavior, those pathways die. And some people, those pathways might not die completely. They could be reactivated in certain contexts. That doesn't mean you need to be on guard every day for the rest of your life. Just recognize there could be a certain combination of triggers that could elicit that pathway and that habit again. But if you learn to recognize those voices and you learn to reject them and you keep moving, you're going to be okay. So don't worry about cravings and thoughts. They can't make you do anything. And the definition of recovery is not that you have no cravings and no urges. It's that you reject those cravings and urges all the time. Remember, you always have control. You can always make better decisions, and you can start making better decisions today. One way to facilitate your recovery is to work with somebody like me and others who have been there, done that, who understand what you're going through and understand the psychology of all this, and who can help you overcome these habits. I think having a coach is immensely powerful and immensely useful because it can save time. They can save you time. You don't have to try every experiment. You don't have to try every diet. You can do what's proven to work and then do it. So you're really saving a lot of time if you can work with somebody who understands what you're going through. My word of encouragement for you is if you have an ED, you can start making progress today and you are fully capable of recovering. So what are the long-term effects of EDs? There's the physical aspects, there's the social life, there's the thoughts and the cravings, there's a relationship with food, there's the weight gain, and then there's the damage that it has on your mental health. All of these long-term effects will subside over time. It's not like you're gonna have to live like this forever. But if you still have cravings and urges several months after your last episode, it's okay. What are some other long-term effects of EDs? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you found this video educational and entertaining. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you want to speak with me, there is a link below. And start producing content today. You can start doing that by joining Creative Business Academy by Satino Artists. This channel would not be possible without their help. If you like this video, I'm sure you'll like one of the other videos that you see on the screen. Click one of them, and I'll see you there.